Hi, I'm Nikita K. Without hesitation, I would say close your eyes and join the program. I would 100% recommend joining the program. I have been a product leader for about 16 years, mostly at senior level positions, working on, consumer products in the fintech industry, enterprise product. And I moved back to the US in 2024, relocated with my family, and I thought, oh yeah, I have experience in United States. It should be fairly easy for me to get the job. Not realizing how much the world had changed in COVID, and how difficult it was going to be. I also come primarily from fintech products, banking industry, fintech industry, financial wellness. Before I joined the program, I had been applying for a good couple of months, working, and I thought I had a good resume. Like it told the story that I wanted it to tell, but turns out it wasn't telling the story. I wasn't really getting any callbacks. And that really threw me off my game, plummeted my confidence down to almost zero. I was like, what am I not doing right? Where am I missing the beat? And that's when I joined the program. I realized that I know my work in my sleep. Like I can talk about numbers and I can talk about how to create digital product and work about growth on them, but I wasn't really telling that story on my resume. There were three big things. One, it was somebody who was run by a woman, and I'm a big women in leadership champion. I love when women can create a community for herself, but for me, that was one big thing. The second was I had joined other programs. I had done other programs, and it was like, oh, here, give us your resume. We'll take it. We'll tailor it for you, and then you just go with it. We'll apply for jobs for you. The different tactic that I learned about Rich's program, reading her LinkedIn comments and, looking at the testimonials was she made you do the work. She wasn't doing the work for you. She was pushing you to do the work, which opened so much more in terms of where was I missing the beat? And I initially found Rich's program actually on LinkedIn. The fact that the stories that she was telling were about these women who had worked with her on themselves was a big seller for me. And I was sick and tired of people doing the work for me because clearly it wasn't working in the past. And so I thought, you know what, let me give this a try. And then we got to talking, and that was the big turning point for me. And I was like, okay, she knows my pain point. I didn't have to tell her my whole story, but she knew exactly what was missing. And then for me, I think that's what sold it, honestly. The fact that you do the hard work. So it pushes you to get out of your comfort zone, right? Like you know your work, you may know how to do it, but for a leader like me, it was never about us, tooting our own horn, for the lack of a better word. We were taught to be more conservative. In general, women don't like tooting their own horn. It's very hard for us to sell. So for me, it was the biggest uncomfortable truth that I had to get out of my own shell and talk about, oh yeah, I did take on a 20 million budget. She really pushed me to think. Like even when I did my resume, I think we did it in 3 rounds, but every round she was like, your numbers aren't big enough, Nikita. You're a director level product owner. Come on. You're a product leader. Why are your numbers not speaking for themselves? Think big. And I said, Richa, I am thinking big. And she'd say, no, you're not thinking big. Because for somebody who is a product leader and launching this and bringing out these numbers, you're thinking very small. And I had to go, okay, so what does big look like? Let me just go crazy. And I think out of frustration, I was like, what is the craziest I could do? And I realized that that was the real truth. The second biggest thing was how I crafted my stories, how I was telling my story. Now, I always know I have been good in communicating, but really about what I did was also very uncomfortable for me. Like telling about, oh yeah, I did that so and so, or I managed 50 million budget, or I did, 2.5 ROI on my $20 million budget was not something that I was comfortable with. So I had to get off my shell. And she was brutal in my mock interviews. And it stung like a bee, like really like a wasp. But once I got over that, I was like, she's right. You know, this is a woman who's getting nothing out of me, and she's still putting her 100% to do the work. What the hell am I doing? Why am I not giving my 1,000%? And that was like, okay, she's right. She's hitting the right points. I need to get better about my delivery. I need to get comfortable with talking about big numbers. And I think the third biggest thing was just the community itself. Like I met such amazing women who were almost in the same boat, but never once anybody said, "Oh, I don't have time for you." And so for me, that was like the three big pillars that, was the best part of the program for me. Your voice were constantly in my head. It's like, it's just a matter of time. Just keep going. And so whenever I felt like giving up and going, like, I'm done, and it would always be your voice in my head going, nope, go back. Go back. Take a break if you need to. If you want to take a break, take a day off. Like just cry it out, whatever you need to do, just get back to it. And it's so funny that I was finally telling my family about it, and my brother wanted to know the whole story, and I told him how the role came about to be. So he said, "Hold on, hold on. So you just created a role for yourself in a company that didn't know about you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And he's like, "That's amazing, dude." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I didn't think about it that way, but it's the thing of keep working and you will get the results. Like, don't give up on, working." And I've never been scared about working hard, but I am I get motivated when I see results. I have just recently accepted a position of VP of Digital Innovation and Growth. It's an exciting work, and it's building the platform, looking at the user base, talking about, all the things that I love effectively, right? Without hesitation, I would say close your eyes and join the program. I would 100% recommend joining the program if you have been, barring the things that you don't know where you're going wrong, you're not really getting the callbacks, you feel like you're stuck, and you want to grow in your career. If you're looking for those things, just close your eyes, reach out to Richa. Don't worry about anything else. Just join the program.